we are back with segment 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Show with Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Now, we talked a little bit about how things can be a little more affordable in the industry here, but I know you have a lot more detail to get into.
Yes, because mentioning like an affordable or a qualifying home for it. Well, what is a qualifying home? I'm sure a lot of people wonder. So although a bit of suspicion is warranted here, and anyone considering a FHSA should do their own due diligence, what properties meet the criteria of qualifying home, it's actually quite broad. So the definition includes single-family homes, semi-detached homes, townhouses, mobile homes, condominium units, apartments in duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, or apartment buildings, as well as share in a cooperative housing corporation that entitles you to own and gives you an equity interest in a housing unit, which we don't have a lot around here, but there is some more Richmond area and Delta, I believe there's some. According to Canada.ca, the following single-family types does not meet the criteria set out for First Home Savings Account, a share that only provides you with the right to tenancy in the housing unit, obviously, because you don't own any part of it. So, or the qualifying home is if it's very inclusive. The only type of home that appears to be excluded is one that someone only has a share of ownership in and thus amounts to tenant rights. So it's pretty open. Pretty much everything.
So what about a tiny home?
Yeah, hey, if you own it and not just as a tenant, then yes. The answer, Curtis, is yes.
There we go. I mean, I know tiny homes, they were a really big thing there for a while. It seems to have cooled a little bit.
Yeah, there was going to be that whole tiny home community in Abbotsford, and it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and I've noticed that, some of the tiny homes now, because my wife watches a lot of HGTV, and I watch with her and stuff, and I've noticed there's been, the tiny homes aren't quite so tiny anymore a lot.
They keep on getting a little bigger.
They're building them they're almost more like a cabin, I would say, almost. There's a little more space, a little more room, which I'm like, I could almost live in that.
Well, you know what a tiny home kind of is kind of like a mobile home. I mean, those are kind of tinier homes. Like, they can be bigger, but I guess from tiny home to mobile home, the different levels. Paul Smith is a fellow colleague realtor, and he actually builds and designs mobile homes. It's really neat. If you're interested in that, because he's local and they're really cool, then you can contact me or Google Paul Smith.
Well, they've come a long way too since the back in the days of the 50s, 60s, 70s double wides and stuff like that. They're really well laid out, well planned out, and quite nice on the inside.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just so nice to be able to add all the different zoning changes if you can have a secondary or a mobile home, or just find a lot and put a mobile home on. Or it's pretty easy living, actually, and they're brand new. What was I going to say?
Well, I got you sidetracked because I was wondering if you could buy a tiny home with this new, program, and you said yes, you can.
Oh, yeah, I was going to mention that Abbotsford is one of the only few cities where the government is actually helping and incentivizing and pushing fast building for builders, for more units, for more homes to help with affordability. That's one of the government's way of helping affordability, is trying to get more homes built, which is good. So Abbotsford is one of the cities, so that's exciting.
Well, we have a lot, there's not a lot of space here, and so we have to, fill up what we can, and we have to go higher. We can't go further out with all the agricultural land, and the Silverdale expansion is going to take a while in Mission still, and that's, they got to do what we can right now, which means we got to get more affordable housing, which often means we have to go up.
I have a client who's working on a lot. He works on a lot of the big projects, Vesta projects, the Wren and Raven project. So this waterfront in Mission. Okay, the plans are really neat. It's commercial on the main and residential above. Oh, I'm so excited about that. Very excited.
Very cool.
It's finally maybe happening. So, the waterfront.
And then there's the tech district, but I think that's still a few years off.
Oh my gosh, yeah. 50, 100, goes by fast. So the First Home Savings Account has some surprising benefits that I wanted to mention, even if you don't end up with that home. So very interesting stuff. If you're intently saving for your first home, you're probably aware that the first home savings account, which is the FHSA, is a great tax-advantaged way to build up your down payment. But the FHSA has broader uses. In the right circumstances, it can also be a good way for renters to save even if they're not sure about buying a home. That makes the FHSA a surprisingly versatile addition to the somewhat crowded field of tax-advantaged savings account. Still, you need to delve into the details to understand when the FHSA works well compared to the main established tax-advantaged savings programs, the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, and the Tax-Free Savings Account. Now, there are so many incentives right now from the government. So let's unlock those. Let's go through them. And I will have this on my blog too for everyone to have a look at. So federal programs, everyone, this is so important. So many people don't use these programs enough. So first-time home buyers programs, home buyers amount tax credit through their tax return. First-time home buyers with a qualifying home can claim up to $10,000 for its purchase. Qualifying homes include most residential types, including single-family, semi-detached, condos, townhouses as well. Buyers must not have lived in another home they owned in the acquisition year or the 4 years prior. So that's called the home buyers amount tax credit. Did you, who knew about that, right? Maybe some people, but surprisingly, a lot of people don't. First-time home buyers incentive. So that's the FTHBI. Administered by the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, which is CMHC, the program offers financial assistance through a shared equity mortgage with the Government of Canada. The 5 to 10% funding helps first-time home buyers reduce their mortgage payments without increasing their down payment. Then, within 25 years or when the home is sold, the same percentage value of the home gets paid back, up to 8% per year. So that's a great one. And then the tax-free first home savings account that we just chatted about. So that one offers first-time home buyers a chance to save $40,000 tax-free with a yearly contribution limit of $8,000. Banks and financial institutions should be set up for the account this year, right now. Okay, so tax-free home savings account. That's what that one was, which we talked about on the first segment. Now, the next one is the Home Buyers Plan, the HBP. So through the Canada Revenue Agency, CRA, the HBP program, eligible home buyers can put up to $35,000 from their RSP toward a down payment on their first home. This tax-free loan can be for a new or existing property the buyer plans on living in full-time within 1 year after buying it. And then there's energy efficiency programs. Not enough people are energy efficient. There's a lot of programs out there for that, like the Greener Homes Loan, which is the GHL. So the GHL provides interest-free 10-year financing for major recommended energy-efficient home retrofits. Loan amounts range between $5,000 and $40,000. So this could be good for people who want to invest into flipping homes, or maybe you're buying a home and you're going to put sweat equity to build that equity up for yourself and sell it later on. Another one energy-efficient program is Canada Greener Homes Grant, with energy-efficient renovation evaluation reimbursements and grants from $125 up to $5,000. This one helps homeowners save money while contributing to a greener future. And then there's the Energy Savings Rebate Program. So this one is a federal government partnership with Ontario retailers to make energy-efficient products more accessible. This happens through $200 million over 2 years in point-of-sale rebates on eligible products. And then there's the Oil to Heat Pump Affordability Program. It just keeps going. Helps those who use oil heating at home with switch to new energy-efficient heat pumps with up to $10,000 to help offset the cost. This type of heating could save thousands of dollars each year on heating bills and lower GHG emissions. And then there's the renovation programs, the GST, New Housing Rebate. Those who buy or build a new home or renovate their current home with a fair market value of under $450,000 and use it for their primary residence may be eligible for the GST New Housing Rebate to get back some of those taxes. And there are some condos out there like that in Red and Raven. to name one. And later on, I was going to mention it, but I have 2 pocket listings for Wren and Raven right now. Brand new. One is going to be finished this fall. The other one, January, February of 2024. So you can contact me about those ones. They're both 1 bedroom plus den. One's facing the river. Big, huge deck on one of them. Really beautiful units. And anyways, next one, home accessibility tax credit. So this one's called HATC, offers seniors and others living with a disability a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying mobility modifications or renovations for their homes. That's so helpful. And multi-generational home renovation tax credit. The MHRTC, which it's called, is a refundable tax credit of up to $7,500 per family. It lets eligible households use the funds to build a secondary unit that accommodates seniors or adults with disabilities. Oh my goodness, it's so there's some good ones. There's provincial programs. There's so much. I'm gonna just put this. There's a few more here. I'm gonna put it all on my website under my blog if you want to have a look at that. And with that, and I already mentioned a couple of my pocket listings. I wanted to maybe tell you about one other pocket listing I have.
Sure.
It's a 3-year new large townhouse in Mission on Grand. It's next to Centennial Park. There's tennis courts. There's a dog park. There's walking trails, everything. You can walk. The pool and leisure center is also adjacent to that. You can enjoy some hockey games there, ice skate. Oh, so much stuff to do. So anyways, call me for more information on that one, as it's a pocket listing. It's an inside unit, bright, beautiful. It's large, side-by-side garage. And it's got front parking in front of the side-by-side garage, which is very rare. And to end our show with a quote from Benjamin Franklin himself, he says, "The person who stops advertising to save money is the same person who stops the clock to save time."
I like that one. It's very true.
That's why I advertise and market.
There's something to that one for sure.
It's true.
All right, if people want more information about your listings, they want to look at your blog, where can they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.